Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The morning sun had barely risen over the Los Angeles skyline when everything changed. What was supposed to be an ordinary day at Forrester Creations quickly turned into heartbreak, chaos, and fear. Today, the Bold and the Beautiful family, both on-screen and off, was rocked by devastating news. Brooke Logan has been in a tragic accident. And now, the woman who has been the heartbeat of the show for decades lies unconscious in a hospital bed, her fate uncertain. The day that changed everything. It began like any other morning. Brooke Logan, glamorous, confident, always full of fire, had arrived at Forrester Creations for a high-stakes meeting with Ridge and the executive team. Tension had been building for weeks over hope for the future, the rivalry between Steffi and Hope, and most of all, the reappearance of Nick Marone in Brooke's life. Ridge had warned Brooke to stay away from Nick, but her heart seemed conflicted. The old feelings, long buried, had begun to resurface. Brooke had brushed Ridge off, calling him controlling. Their fight was brutal. Words were exchanged that left Brooke shaken. Later, Brooke had been seen leaving the office in tears, her makeup smudged, her hair tied back hastily. She didn't even tell her assistant where she was going. She simply grabbed her purse, got in her car, and drove. No one knew that it would be the last time they'd see her standing. The accident, it happened at around 10:42 a.m. on a winding stretch of road above the Pacific Palisades. Witnesses say they saw a silver SUV speeding slightly, swerving suddenly, and then losing control. The vehicle struck a guardrail, flipped, and rolled into a steep ravine. Emergency crews arrived within minutes. The car was totaled. Paramedics used the jaws of life to extract Brooke from the wreckage. She was unconscious, barely breathing, with visible head trauma and multiple fractures. Her phone had been destroyed in the crash, no ID on her. It wasn't until one of the officers recognized her, the Brooke Logan, that the weight of what had happened truly hit them. The news spreads. The first call went to Hope. She was at Forrester in a meeting with Thomas, discussing designs. When her phone rang and she answered, her face went pale. She whispered, "No, no, no," and collapsed into tears. Thomas rushed to her side. Steffi looked on in shock, and Eric, overhearing the news, went silent. Next was Ridge. He had just walked into his office when he got the call. His phone fell from his hand as the words echoed in his ears. "Brooke has been in an accident. It's serious. You need to come now." Katie screamed when she found out. Donna fainted. Even Bill Spencer, tough and cold as he may seem, couldn't hide the devastation on his face when Wyatt told him the news. The hospital scene. By noon, the entire Forrester family had gathered at University Medical Center. Brooke was in the ICU. Doctors said she was in a coma, with bleeding on the brain and fractured ribs. Hope sat by her mother's bedside, holding her hand tightly. "You're the strongest woman I know, Mom. You fought through everything. Heartache, betrayal, even cancer. This is just one more thing. You have to wake up. I need you." Ridge stood in the corner, staring silently. His mind replayed their last conversation over and over again. The fight, the accusations, the slammed door. "I pushed her away," he whispered to Eric. "I didn't mean to. I thought we had more time." Nick arrived later, breathless, shaken. He hadn't seen Brooke in years, but they had recently begun reconnecting. He looked at her fragile body lying still, and tears streamed down his face. "I never stopped loving her," he said quietly. "I should have told her sooner." Flashbacks and farewells. Throughout the day, the hospital became a place of memories. Everyone who loved Brooke, and even those who clashed with her, found themselves reflecting on her life. Eric sat in the waiting room, holding a framed photo of them from the 90s. "She was my muse," he said, "my partner. Even when we weren't together, she inspired everything I designed." Taylor, surprisingly shaken, came with Steffi. She approached Hope gently, saying, "Your mother and I were never friends. But we shared something deep: love, rivalry, motherhood. I hope she finds the strength to return." Bill paced the hallway. He spoke to no one, but at one point slipped into a room when no one was watching. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "You still haunt me, Logan. Don't you dare leave me with ghosts." Even Deacon, now on a cleaner path, arrived. He stood awkwardly near Hope. "She always believed in me. Even when she shouldn't have. She doesn't deserve this." A glimmer of hope. The doctors were not optimistic. The next 24 hours were critical. "She may never wake up," one of them told Ridge. But then, something happened. Late in the night, as Hope and Ridge sat silently in the room, the heart monitor began to change. A nurse came in, then called for the doctor. Brooke's eyes flickered. Her fingers twitched. "Brooke, Mom." Hope leaned in. Brooke's eyes opened slightly, unfocused, hazy. Her lips parted. A sound came out. It wasn't clear. It could have been Hope, or maybe Nick, but it was something. Hope cried out in joy. Ridge stepped closer. "Brooke, you're here. You're with us." She fell back asleep moments later, but it was enough. The doctor said it was the first sign of consciousness. "She's fighting," the nurse said. "She's not ready to give up." The fallout, as the family clung to Hope, emotions ran high. Ridge was torn. Guilt weighed heavily on him. "I spent years pushing and pulling her, always doubting. Maybe she deserved someone who never questioned her." Nick stood quietly nearby, a storm behind his eyes. He loved Brooke. Maybe he always had, but was it too late? Hope, the ever-loving daughter, remained the glue holding everyone together. "This isn't about blame. It's about Mom. We're all here because we love her. That's all that matters." But behind the love and unity, questions loomed large. Who will Brooke choose if she wakes up? Will she recover fully, physically and mentally? Will this tragedy bring the family together, or drive deeper wedges between them? Final moments. As night fell, the hospital grew quiet. Brooke slept peacefully, a soft beeping sound echoing in the dimly lit ITU room. The world outside moved on, but inside, time stood still. Hope sat curled in the chair next to her. Ridge rested in the hallway. Nick leaned against the wall, deep in thought. And somewhere beyond the lights and the pain, the legacy of Brooke Logan, the fierce, complicated, beautiful soul that had changed so many lives, hung in delicate balance. Everyone was praying. Everyone was hoping. And everyone, fans and characters alike, were united in heartbreak. Brooke Logan, the heart of the bold and the beautiful, may be down, but never count her out. We love you, Brooke. Stay strong.